No. He's great, but I think he needs to play many more years, which if he does, there's no question that he's in the conversation. Too young.
Max?
Now, I would say that's right if you say greatest ever. I mean, we're parsing words here, but he's not going to be most accomplished. In terms of who I've put my eyes on and said, that guy the peaks he hit are already, oh my God. Brett, he's like you, and take away the turnovers. Like before his first, and you're one of the greatest who ever lived. Before his first game, when you just saw him like preseason, it was like I came out on First Take and said, I'm going to tell my grandkids I saw this guy throw. It sounds ridiculous, but you're one of the names I mentioned in terms of the electricity of his arm. And since then, he threw 50 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, won the MVP, followed that up by improving that ratio on the Super Bowl MVP. He might do both this year.
Brett Favre, I must confess, I'm actually shocked. I mean, your first appearance on the show here and the first words out of your mouth, you completely agree with me. I'm very stunned, but pleasantly so, I might add, because I've been trying to tell Max this. I mean, the dude is phenomenal thus far, but longevity matters. Consistency matters. Doing it over a long period of time matters. And to just summarily just dismiss the Aaron Rodgers of the world and others and just elevate this guy after a couple of years, I felt was absolutely positively ridiculous. We've argued about it on many occasions. And then the one and only Brett Favre, in his very first appearance on First Take, comes on the show and agrees with me. I'm very touched,
No, that's
sir.
not actually what just happened, but nice try.
I'm very touched,
Brett gets the final word here, Max. Brett gets the final word on Mahomes, then we'll move on.
No, we all agree. The guy's great. What he's accomplished so far is outstanding. I agree with Max. One turnover this year is incredible. To be a gunslinger, you would think that you would turn the ball over. I mean, at least a tip a ball or something. But very impressive.
It's just a little too early. I hear you. All right, next topic we got here for you, Brett. How confident are you that Aaron Rodgers wins another Super Bowl in Green Bay?
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm very confident that he will do his part.
Other quarterbacks drafted, like an Aaron Rodgers situation, do you think the team will do their part and get the right parts around him? Or do you think they've done enough?
Well, the jury's still out. Did they do enough? As we say, or as we're talking about this presently, it seems as though they've done their part, but time will tell. We're all in agreement that we felt like they should have gone with an offensive weapon for immediate help right now. Mm-hmm. So we'll see who's right at the end of the season.
Okay, fair enough. We'll
Can
move
you
on
imagine,
here. Oh,
Molly,
go ahead, Max. Yeah.
If Aaron Rodgers, like, Brett, you took your shot with Minnesota and actually did very well and would have been something to win a Super Bowl with them in the division. Could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers took a shot with, a team like Chicago, who has never had a quarterback like that but has the defense? Could you imagine? Because that's not out of the realm of possibility.
They'd kidnap half their squad and throw them to the trash to get their hands on somebody like Aaron Rodgers. Chicago right now. Could you imagine with that defense, if they had an Aaron Rodgers? Lord have mercy.
No question. Brett knows what it's like to make moves. He's not afraid of that. All right, Brett, we're moving on here to Philadelphia. This one is puzzling for me.
Best player in the league. Who'd they give it to last year? My man, Pat Mahomes.
Go ahead, Damien.
Woo, y'all dropped a bomb yesterday with this one. Y'all really did. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers simply for this one reason. I think when we talk about better, we also got to talk about the mental aspect of the game. And I think where Aaron Rodgers differentiates himself from a Patrick Mahomes at this present time is the fact that he has more experience in the league right now. He's seen more things, and I think he might have a more cerebral aspect to his game right now because of the experience. But make no mistake about it, when it comes to the physical For years, we've marveled at Aaron Rodgers and his arm talent and the things he's been able to do throughout his career that other quarterbacks haven't been able to do. But those days are over with, okay? Those days are over with. Patrick Mahomes can do everything that Aaron Rodgers can do and better outside the pocket, his arm talent. He can do all the things that he's like a 2.0 of Aaron Rodgers. But I think that right now, the little separation to me is the neck up with the experience that Aaron Rodgers has playing in this league. It won't be long before Patrick Mahomes, to me, it won't even be a conversation that Patrick Mahomes is a guy.
According to Damien, that Patrick Mahomes is going to be even better this year than he was last year because he at least has a year of experience under his belt. I think the experience obviously is something that matters, but Aaron Rodgers had that experience last year, and he wasn't anywhere close to Patrick Mahomes last year. He's had that experience the year before, and he wasn't close to Patrick Mahomes, and he had that experience when he was an MVP, and his numbers were tantamount to what Patrick Mahomes were, but they weren't better. They weren't above and beyond what Patrick Mahomes
let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question, Nick. Okay, because you brought it up. You brought up talent, personnel, and you brought up coach. So let me ask you this: if you put Aaron Rodgers in that system, what kind of numbers would Aaron Rodgers put up in Kansas City?
Oh, he put up great numbers, but if was a fifth, we all be drunk.
But I'm just saying. I mean, don't you have to? Well, I mean, we've come on this show and we've constantly talked about how Aaron Rodgers was handicapped by Mike McCarthy and his system, his conservative system. Now you put Aaron Rodgers in a high octane offense like the Kansas City Chiefs. I guarantee he'll put up, probably the same type of numbers.
You just went down the list, and you said that Patrick Mahomes is better than him in almost every category except for the experience category.
Right. From the physical aspect, I think he's like a 2.0. But I'm just saying,
it didn't seem like Patrick Mahomes had trouble making decisions last year. It seemed like he made all the right decisions throughout, and even deep into the playoffs. They lost that playoff games. It wasn't his fault. He was making good decisions. It seems like he is pretty good from the neck up, as far as I'm concerned. The son of a professional athlete, he's comfortable with this world. He's not going to get intimidated. I think he is getting better. I think he was better than, we don't have to argue this. We all agree that he was better than Aaron Rodgers last year. But the question is, who's going to be better this coming season? I think it's going to be Patrick Mahomes, and it's going to be Patrick Mahomes going forward compared to Aaron Rodgers, who I hate to do this because obviously I think Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. I agree. Aaron Rodgers is great. He's been the most talented quarterback in the league for a long time, even though he hasn't been the most successful. And he was hampered by what Mike McCarthy was doing. All that stuff is true. But that's a different world. The world has changed. We are now in Pat Mahomes' world, and Aaron Rodgers is not going to get that crown back. Right. He's still going to be great. He's still going to be Pro Bowl caliber and possibly win the Super Bowl this year with the adjustments they made on defense.
Let me chime in.
He ain't Patrick.
Now, we heard you. Let me chime in.
All right, give it to me.
Both of y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. Just ashamed. I mean, Damien, what are you too big to be dancing, bro? You too big to be dancing, all right? Because you were dancing all over the place. You were sitting there raving about Aaron Rodgers, and then you come back on the back end with how, Patrick Mahomes is 2.0. We'll see.
Wait a minute, hold on.
They lost to the Steelers, twice to the Ravens, and once to the Steelers. They have a chance in the last game of the season to beat the Steelers. I'll take the Steelers. Right? And so if you're the third best team in your own division with the money on the line, I can't consider you a Super Bowl contender unless you're in the best division in football. And I also don't believe that's the case. I'll still take the NFC West in spite of certain teams' struggles in that division recently. So Baker and the Browns showed